Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right. This is the second half of the third week of November we're going to talk about. And we're going to try and keep a straight face because we've got funny things to talk about later on. But anyway, first we're going to talk about DC Universe presents Black Lightning and Blue Devil, number 14.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily the most original story that was ever told, but that's okay with me because it's a setup that I like.
It's an introduction arc.
Yeah, but that's cool with me. The way this comic is currently going, I think I'd read a continuing story with these two teaming up.
I would.
I love the way that they both figure out that each other's are who they are.
Yeah.
That was cool. So we find out I was right. The suit isn't part of him. It's just
it's not welded
I think
to him.
it's just more
Well, I think it's been infused.
exactly.
It got infused with Grandpa's soul, so now it's
powerful. It's really a demon skin now.
yeah.
Yeah. I love the way they explain magic in this. You know, the magic is powered by belief, and so making all of these crappy
Campy B movies is awesome. What a great idea.
That's awesome.
His family, going down the generations, has been in charge of trying to keep a handle on magic. So his grandpa's answer to keeping a handle on magic was creating this movie house and making magic seem dumb and stupid and real campy so people wouldn't believe in it. And literally, the props he's using are actual magical devices, and he puts them in the movies to make them seem stupid.
Well, yeah. Like, I would have totally loved to see what all the dragon sword thing that they're talking about in that leather. That would have been cool. Also, I love the fact that Tobias the whale is still a human, even though he looks weird.
Yeah.
Because that definitely... It seems kind of TV showish to me, like animated, cartoony kind of thing.
Well, I think he is a mutant to some degree.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously is.
I like that.
Stronger. And,
I like that about him. Also, there's a spread page that I love in this. You know, while he's sticking the goblet down that guy's face.
Right.
Ow! That just makes my teeth hurt. I can just think of his teeth. Ah.
Giant goblet looks like something from looks like the Holy Grail or something that he's cramming down the guy's
mouth. But that spread page with where Nebrebros, or however you say his name, first shows up, that one right there, that is a cool page.
Yeah. The art in this is awesome. The artist is Robinson Rocha. Would you say it Rocha? Or
yeah, I think so.
Rocha. Excellent artist. They need to get him on a ongoing of some sort. If it's not a Blue Devil and Black Lightning ongoing. Yeah.
But I love the fact that Tobias is going to hook people with his drugs. And now his drugs are not only going to hook you, but they're going to take your soul. So all you live for now is the drugs.
Right.
That's awesome.
And then who gets to collect the soul after the fact?
The Nebrebros.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right at some point.
Nebrios.
Oh, yeah, I'm adding an extra B. But Nebrios, that's an...
Cool. That's kind of cool.
That's a beautifully evil one-two punch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really like this book.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. Like I said, I love the art. Definitely like the Blue Devil character better than Black Lightning. Black Lightning seems more generic than Blue Devil does at this point. Maybe that's just because Blue Devil's more interesting to look at because of how textured his suit is and whatnot. It's really intricate.
And we've seen more of Blue Devil in the story so far too.
Yeah, because the really bad stuff that's happening is more centered around Blue Devil. I love the fact that he is probably wearing a demon's skin.
Yeah.
It's not just a suit. He's literally... He's literally putting on some demon's
So I'm assuming that when Nebrios sees the picture of him, he's not going, oh, a guy wearing a demon suit. He's going, oh, that demon.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Also, I want to be a demon. That way I can have, like, my jaw extend, like, 5,000 feet and have, like, a creepy blue tongue.
That's my son. His goal is to be a demon.
I'm practicing.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that. Later on, we'll get a nail out and nail your tongue down to something.
Okay, I'm good.
Pull.
Okay.
Stretch it.
Never mind.
Yeah. Anyway, what would we rate this book?
I think I'd give it a 4.
I would give it a 3.5. Yeah, I mean, it didn't like wows and socks off, but it's really entertaining, fun, straightforward, superhero style type comic. yeah, the plot line is a little overused as far as that goes. So that's
not
fine,
the strongest forever, but.
But anyway, so what are we talking about next?
Next up we have Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue 14.
Issue 14. They get back from space and get hounded by Superman.
Dang it. This book makes me so mad. It's like, oh yeah, good issue. And then it has this issue where it's just like, whoa, what are you doing?
Uh-huh.
And suddenly, yeah.
Is this an issue of what are they doing?
Yes, I wish we could get out of the space. Plus, I hate the art in this book. Roy's face in some places, or Arsenal, yeah. His faces in some places
what I think is
are
funny
just
is there's one place where his hair is loose, and hanging down, and he almost looks like Starfire wearing a baseball cap.
Yeah, I know. It's just, ugh.
What I think's kind of bizarre is, of course, Superman shows up. Superman wants to know, because Starfire's an alien, if he's been visited by this, Hell person, right? Or a minion of that person. That's why he's shown up. So basically what it is Lobdell, who's the writer of this, and he's also the writer of Superman, and of course the Superman, we got this crossover event that's going on between Superman, Superboy, and Supergirl. It's like he went, oh, well, I need to add some more flavor to my Superman crossover thing, so I'm going to railroad Red Hood and the Outlaws for an issue just to do that as a whole. And so it's kind of frustrating. I mean, it is amusing watching Superman land down and them try to think that they can hose the Superman.
That was great.
It's like, come on. And I do like Red Hood's date. I mean, she's kind of funny how she deals with the whole thing. It's like, okay, look, you guys, let's just kind of sit down and talk about it.
It's like you don't know how to text.
Right.
And you can't sit down and talk with them for 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I love how the fact that, they think they can teleport away from Superman, and they're all like, oh, yeah, no big deal. There's no way you can get here. And, of course...
I love that.
Of course, Red Hood has dealt with Superman when he was Robin, and he's thinking, no, man, you don't understand. This guy, whatever he wants, he gets. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's going to, and so he's everywhere.
Yeah, of course, then I love that scene of Superman turning away from the ship, mumbling something. Yeah, that's great.
He's all irritated because they're porting away from him and he knows it, so he's going to go chase after him again. And of course, the second half of the book starts to set up the whole death of the family part that's going to be in this book, where, of course, they mess with the girlfriend at the end of it.
Yeah.
I do like the fact where he's in the shower and he doesn't get an answer, so he rips the shower.
He rips the shower rod off?
Shower rod off to use it as a weapon as he's coming out.
It's awesome.
It's like, okay, this guy's a badass. But yeah. Not a great comic. Certainly nothing that you would need to pick up if you thought you were going to pick something up. Or I guess maybe you want to pick this up if you want to read what happens with Red Hood and the
death of the family.
And the death of the family. But all it basically is Joker fakes that he's a newscaster. He ODs the girlfriend, leaving her basically in the exact same position that Jason Todd's mom OD'd in, kind of messing with his head that way. And probably not anything that you really need to... But I'm surprised. I'm shocked that it doesn't say Death of the Family tie-in across the top of it. Because it literally had some Joker stuff in it.
Yeah.
Whereas some of these other books that say Death of the Family tie-in, and it literally has a single panel that has to do with the tie-in. So it's kind of surprising how inconsistent. You thought they'd put it on there to sell this book like they have everything else.
Yeah. Then again, out of everything, Red Hood and the Outlaws, to me, feels like it is the farthest away from... From Batman.
It is.
But not Batman, but from Batman, but not from the Wayne family.
Right.
The Wayne family is, I feel that's, yeah.
But he has to be part of the death of the family. He frickin' died. He was frickin' killed. I mean, he was dead for a period of time. And in the ground, dead.
Yeah.
For a period of time. So, Joker's got to use that tool.
Yeah.
He's got to use those buttons. That's actually potentially an interesting story. So obviously I'm going to get Red Hood through the death of the family thing. This is one of those books that as I think more and more about all the mediocre books I have, this is one that's on that chopping block. It's just every once in a while it squeezes out something really cool in it that makes me go, oh man, keep it around. I like the characters. Yeah. I want the characters to be interesting. I even like the idea of them being kind of on the outskirts of everything.
Well, see,
but
I wish they hadn't taken it into space. It was...
I didn't mind that, though. Taking it into space gave them the opportunity to show that Starfire wasn't just a bubble-headed, huge-breasted, goldfish that they have fly around blasting stuff for them.
Yeah.
But she can be in command, and she can be in charge, and she's not just a dimwit. And they hadn't had a storyline to tell that otherwise.
True. But still. I wish we could get back to Jason hunting the unknown or whatever they're called that killed his family after he was resurrected.
Yeah.
So what would you give it?
A week 3.
I think I'd give it a 3.
Yeah. Okay. So next we're going to talk about The Shadow, number 8. What's it?
I love this book. I love it when the Shadow meets people who are like him in the sense that he can't read them.
Right.
And if you notice, they all kind of look the same. I mean, they all have those darker eyes, blackish hair, and I like the way that they make them look similar to each other. I mean,
except this woman that he meets, right? That's what you're talking about. Isn't the same as like the guy in the last book who actually had power herself too.
Yeah.
She's just, for whatever reason, he can't read her like a book. Like he can most people's souls.
That was great. I love their little joyride that they have.
As casually he pours his glass of champagne. Did you want some too? Oh, you didn't ask fast enough because he chucks the bottle through the car.
Like, do you want some? And he's like, what? Oh, you missed our chance. And she throws it back through the car. She's like, oh.
Yeah.
I really like this issue, actually. I still love that he continues to give people the chance to walk away.
Right.
Even though he knows that
they're not gonna.
Even though that they knows that they won't. I think that's part of him and not part of the Shadow.
Right. Right.
Also, I love the fact that he's starting to question his means as the Shadow. Still, he's talking about how he doesn't necessarily want to be Fate's errand boy. So on.
Right. Is he doing his own bidding, or is ultimately? I mean, is he using the power for what he needs it for, or is the power using him?
Yep.
Is he being slowly drugged across the universe in whatever fashion, whatnot? And is that an okay thing? Yeah. So that's a good question. That's a good question to have in the book as a kind of an underlying current as to why where he's at and what he's doing and whatnot. Here we're dealing with gun runners in basically they spent some time in France, but it really has to do with the Spanish Civil War that went on right before World War II. So it's interesting.
Cool.
It's an interesting slice in there. New writer and a new artist. I think it's really interesting. If you look at the inside cover, it says that Aaron Campbell did the artwork. But as I'm reading it, the artwork didn't look quite like it has in the past. I'm thinking, is there a new inker? I kept looking back. No, there's no new inker. It just says Aaron Campbell does the art, and then somebody else is the colorist. I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll have to look up the colorist because it doesn't look quite the same way. Not that it looks bad. It just looks all fuzzier. It's not as sharp and as clear. But you get to the back of the book, and the back of the book is talking about the next issue, and it says that this issue was drawn by somebody else, and the rest of this arc, that's like 4 issues long, is going to have this writer and this artist on it. Now, I don't know if that means Aaron Campbell's coming back to the book. I know that Ennis isn't coming back to write the book. The guy who wrote the first, 5 issues or 6 issues. He's not coming back to the book, I don't think. So it's going on to this writer, but I still think it's a great book, even though the one thing I will say is I ended up with the Francavilla cover, which normally I think is awesome, but actually every issue that I've gotten so far has been a Ross cover, the painted covers, and I kind of wanted to stay with that, but I order my comics and I get whatever they give me, as far as, because there's 4 different of the normal covers you can get, so you have 25% chance of what cover you get. So I got this one, which isn't bad, but I was kind of hoping to get the consistent one.
Because the Ross ones are the coolest.
Well, I like it. There's one where he's riding away on the motorcycle. There's a scene here he's riding the motorcycle, and that's what the cover is, and the cover looks really cool. He's just zipping along. He's all hunkered down, this scarf blowing behind him, and bullets are whizzing by, which is pretty cool. But anyway, what would we rate this book?
I think I'd give it a week 4.
Yeah, that's where I am too. I mean, it knocked my socks off, but it's still definitely a good book. I'm happy with The Shadow. Unless somebody does something really bad with it, whatnot, we're past that first arc, and it's fun. He's a cool character.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? This is the thing we keep laughing about.
Next up is Supergirl, which doesn't necessarily...
Supergirl number 14.
Number 14, which wasn't necessarily a funny book, but Superboy's face on this cover, oh my god.
Dirt, dirt, dirt. Dirt, dirt, dirt. He just looks... Well, obviously looks like he's... what it really... It really looks like the hills of their hand is shoved someplace else is what it looks like. At any rate,
Okay.
Of course, this cover is totally misleading. This doesn't happen.
Yeah, no.
I mean, well, Superboy having to help you. Okay, so we aren't picking up any of the
Other super comics.
Yeah, I didn't pick up any of
We
the
aren't
rest of
playing
this.
any of the other hell on Earth.
Yeah, I didn't pick up any of the other crossovers. I hate crossovers. I don't mind events so much, but I really hate crossovers. So I decided I wasn't getting the other super books because I'm just really not into the super books. So there's a lot we don't really know what's going on here. Oh, we got kind of an idea, but because we're not reading the whole arc, a large chunk of it is who cares. Other than somehow Hell gives her the ability to be able to understand and speak English.
That's cheating.
She was gonna have to learn it somehow.
Yeah, but that's kind of...
Well, I figured how it was gonna happen is she'd go down to her solitude place, and she'd put in some magic Kryptonian headphones or something, and it'd go boop, and suddenly she'd be able to speak English. I mean, how long are we gonna go with her not being able to speak the language of the world?
True.
Not that English is the country of the world, but anyway. So you knew it was gonna have to happen at some point. You knew it was gonna have to be some zappy kind of thing, because otherwise, how else would it? Unless they just said suddenly, 10 months passed and she can speak English.
Yeah.
But this was just kind of whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I like Supergirl. I like the character. But yeah, this is kind of a who cares kind of another one, just because it's all part of this whole thing. Looking forward to getting over with, getting back to having her own storyline.
Yep. Okay. 3.
Yeah, I give it a 3-2. Art's okay. Actually, art was a little shakier than normal too.
Yeah.
Like it was in a hurry. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is what it is. We're gonna go on to other comics. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so lastly, we're going to talk about Wonder Woman number 14.
Yay. Okay, first of all, I love this cover. I love how it's Wonder Woman walking along with her torch and her sword, and we have Shirako behind her with her...
And it wicks back into
a skull
on her hair.
They really like drawing skulls on covers, I've discovered. A lot. No. The art in this was awesome.
Inconsistent. You thought it was awesome?
I had no problem with it.
Okay, go on. I'll wait for you to finish, then I'll talk.
Okay. I like that the art where it's all wintry and the art where it's all dust and sandy are different. I like that.
2 different inkers. Same art, same penciler, and 2 different inkers.
See, if that's what you're talking about, inconsistent, I didn't have a problem with that because they definitely feel like different.
Yes, they did. But I still think, Glenn, this isn't Cliff Chang, which would be
amazing.
Would be our first choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Atkins is the guy who's been the backup for this whole time, which is fine as far as that goes. But I thought this is weak Tony Atkins art even, and I'm not sure why that is. I haven't gone back to the research yet to see if these are his normal inkers or if this is somebody else, and that's why it looks different. Anyway,
I love her little bout with Shirako. How she's talking about all this horrible stuff that happened to her, and how Wonder Woman is trying to relate to her,
right,
and saying, "Oh no, it's not that I'm just harboring Hera." She's like, you're keeping Hera safe,
right? The woman who killed my mother and
me. Hera frickin' tears her apart with a sandstorm.
Yeah.
She literally grinds her into nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow!
Yeah.
Ow! I love the fact that Zeus turns her into her demise, because that is a very godly thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely.
That's definitely like with what is her name? The bear in the sky. I know we call it the Ursa Major, but I don't remember what the original nymph I think it is. But anyway, that's definitely a very Zeusly thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
To not necessarily ideally save them.
Right. It
But,
doesn't fix it, but
mm-hmm.
but gives them some sort of alternative. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a question: the whole thing with Wonder Woman and Shiraka, was it kind of pointless at the end, though? She goes to them because she's supposed to be able to hear wherever they're at, so they can track them down. She can't, and so then that's kind of the end of it. She walks off saying, "Hey, great to have a sisterhood, brothers and sisters all together," and she says to Wonder Woman, tell their other brother, hi or whatever, and she's like, you should tell her yourself. But Wonder Woman gets nothing out of it other than having a fight with her and them swapping horror stories of what Hera's done to him.
Yeah. Um, but all the same, I didn't feel like that was a bad thing in this case. No, Wonder Woman didn't get anything out of it, and we still have no idea where Hermes and the baby are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Well, see, for me, I don't think it was pointless either, because I think if nothing else, even if you don't care about adding yet another character to this kind of half sibling mythos that they're building of all the different people that Zeus has sired all over the place. I mean, the guy obviously
he gets around.
Has a problem keeping it in his pants for sure.
He's a man whore.
Yeah, something like that. Beyond that, I think it also helps portray more of who Wonder Woman is.
Yep.
That she's this person that will go to war if she needs to go to war, but is very willing to forgive if that's what it take. And it also explains her justification for keeping Hera around. I mean, she says, "Look, no, I'm not protecting Hera. I'm keeping her around because I'm hoping that Hera can fix this crap that she screwed up somewhere along the way."
Well, so she can turn all of her Amazonian sisters back into Amazons and all of
Sure. Well, whatever. So I mean, but I think without this story, why the hell is she keeping her around?
So we can have
More
laughs at Hera eating ice cream.
I guess, but so I thought I thought the story had its point. I really liked the guy who's dug himself out of the snow. That little piece of story we're getting along the way.
Yeah.
So this guy's probably the god killer, we can assume.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're kind of definitely giving us that. I love where he's standing around waiting for a sign to tell him who it is that he needs to be punching the crap out of.
Apollo.
And of course the sun comes up, so Apollo, the counter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curious to see what the actual motivation of the scientists that helped find him, what their motivation is. I like the little bit of story. I actually really like the artwork where the hyena finds the baby, him laying out there in the middle of where, and licks his hand and stuff. That was there was some pretty good artwork and some pretty good images there.
Yeah.
Still really like this book. I think this wasn't a throwaway story. It wasn't a waste.
I don't think so.
Some people have been saying that. I'm just saying, from my perspective, it tells apart a story. It adds another layer to Wonder Woman to show what she represents as a person, as a quasi-deity, who she is and stuff.
We get a new character who looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's less about the introduction of that demigod than it has to do with justifying why Wonder Woman's doing what she's doing and whatnot. And further adding to the level of just how ugly and nasty Hera is. So we gotta talk about the very end of the book?
Not yet.
Okay.
I love the gods in this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love their banter with each other.
Laura is such an awesome character.
For some reason, Dionysus's spiky teeth amuse me.
Yeah.
They just do. I love how they all think War's kind of gone crazy.
Right.
But he has, because War for us now has just gone kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He is an extremely interesting secondary character.
I think all the gods are, at least if they aren't already, they have the potential to. I love the fact that they don't show us Aphrodite's face.
Yeah. Well, how can you draw it?
Exactly.
She's the most beautiful thing
It's
ever.
supposed to be the most.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good call. It's a good call on their part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To not ever do that.
Yeah.
I just think that War is an extremely complex character. I think that the Zero issue really made him extremely interesting, and the fact that he was this much more upbeat kind of a person until, he trained Wonder Woman to basically do a job for him, and she backed out of it, and since then he has been this much more bitter, kind of ugly. I think he can see what's coming. I think he knows it's just a matter of time what's really going to happen, and he's just going to get out of the way and watch it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole posing thing. There's only one person posing here. Implying that Apollo is the poser thing.
I love it when Apollo puts his hand on Dionysus's shoulder, and Dionysus just got out of their pool. I love the fact that their meeting is a godly pool party.
Yeah.
I'm amused by that. But he puts his hand on Dionysus' shoulder and it steams
Right.
because he's the sun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is still by far. I still think the best comic to come out of the New 52.
Yep.
And is definitely one of a handful of comics that would not be the way it is and would not be as cool as it is without having had the
New 52.
the relaunch of
Yep.
the New 52. So yeah, excellent comic. What would we rate it?
I'd give it a 5.
Would you?
Yep.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
It's a weak 5, but
I'm gonna give it a
it's
4.
still
I'm gonna give it a 4 because I thought the art could have been adjusted better than what it was. But looking forward. We're not gonna talk about the very end of the book.
What's at the very end of the book?
We're not gonna talk about the new gods. We're not gonna talk about Orion.
Oh, there we go. I don't know why I forgot about that.
Yeah, you know, of course they show us a full shot of Orion. I don't know, he seems pretty generic right now.
Yep.
I'm excited for that thing to really get going, so it'll be curious to see how that all goes. But right now, that's where a couple issues ago that was extremely interesting. Now getting this other exposure to it that we have, it's not as interesting, but it'll be cool.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that they are. What it looks like is that they're going to introduce the new gods in a clash with the old gods.
Right.
That's
right.
awesome.
Yep, fourth world gods clashing with the gods of Greek mythology is going to be pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, that is it. We'll catch you next week.